Showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
Yo, what is the deal, guys? What is the deal? What's going on? We throwing this one in. This is not a regular show. This is actually a piece that I want to do because it's off the heels of just watching Black Adam. This is a Black Adam short that I'm doing a review. GCOM Radio Nova Phoenix doing a review of Black Adam because I felt like this is something that just had to stand outside the show. We'll get a regular one, another one later this week. On some other things going on, I thought it would. This was something that needed its own attention because there's so much information and news and drama that's circling this film. And man, I'm gonna just do this Black Adam review, just coming straight out of the Nova Phoenix brain. I'm not official, to be forewarned. I'm not an official movie reviewer, but I have done some in the past, and I'm doing this one right here because this is one of my personal favorites, Black Adam with the Rock. So if you have not seen a Black Adam, I suggest you just turn this on because I can't do any movie reviews, no spoiler movie reviews. I'm gonna throw in everything that's in there. So this is not for you. Use this or play this back after you see Black Adam, and then hey man, this is for you. All right, so first off the list, I mean, major critics have been trashing this movie, man. The people are responding. Major critics, this movie dropped, and that's one of the reasons why I want to talk about Black Adam, because I'm like, all of a sudden I was seeing on Twitter, they were talking about 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, and for the first 45 people that came, I'm like, what? Why are we promoting this film in this way? What is going on that Black Adam's getting all these negative reviews? I mean, the movie just came out, and yeah, I have my things about that, but that's what really stirred me on really doing this thing, and it kills me to know that you have establishment critics that are really trying to light the flames underneath this movie and watch it burn to the ground. And that's what I don't appreciate, because to me, I just take it as bullying here for whatever reason that they feel that they need to trash this film that they have. Now, again, I've seen this film. I'm not saying this thing is a perfect film. It's not a perfect film. There are a lot of things that are questionable from the viewer's point of view, and it is what it is. We're gonna kind of pick apart movies from a professional critic's point of view and also from a viewer's point of view. There's certain things that we like, certain things that we don't like, but I'm gonna get into what I didn't like or liked at the same time. So as far as the character is concerned, I think Rock did a fantabulous job being Black Adam. No other person could play Black Adam. My man, the poise, the way he carried the character. I mean, all from the very beginning when Black Adam was introduced, this man looked like a god. And this is something that has never been done, for me personally, has never been done in any superhero film. How the actor presents a particular superhero in the way that The Rock did. All the other superheroes, they're there. We know they're superpowered. We know they have abilities, not like all the other human beings in this setting. And we see it, and they do that. But I mean, to see The Rock play Black Adam, to show his power without actually showing his power physically, of course they get to that in the film, but when he first steps on the scene in the first 30 seconds, a minute, and how he displays this sense of godlike power is that he doesn't walk. He floats everywhere. He floats around slowly, going from person to person, interacting with them. And to me, that's what set Black Adam apart from even the superheroes in the film. He does not walk. I mean, of course, he does walk at some point, but in the first, I guess, like say about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes of watching Black Adam, half the time or more than half the time he's just floating, and that's how I perceived it when I'm like taking in this image, and that just shown in so many ways how Black Adam should not be seen like any other superhero. And of course the intensity that The Rock was giving in his eyes to these characters and displaying it and conveying that to the audience showed that he had the immensity in that strength and that power in his presence. It was amazing. So shout out to Black Adam and The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, for playing the Black Adam the way that he did. Perfect. Justice Society, that's what's up. Aldous Hodge, I give it up to Aldous Hodge being Hawkman. My man was doing his thing. Man, I swear to you, I seen him being T'Challa if they were to recast it right now. I mean, Aldous Hodge really did fill the role of Hawkman the right way and the leader of the Justice Society. Did I say Justice League? The Justice Society. Man, he did his thing. So big ups. Who else? Who my personal favorites? Pierce Brosnan, of course, ex James Bond. He did his thing with Dr. Fate. If there was any way to present Dr. Fate, that was the way to present it. Like how Pierce Brosnan portrayed the character, the type of clothes that the character picked, the movements, everything. Dr. Fate is what's up. I loved it. Of course, Quintessa Swindell as Cyclone. Big ups to her. She did a thing. I mean, her and Noah Centineo, who played Atom Smasher, they fill the role as members of Justice Society, and they did what they did. Well, they were not like top tier characters, the front of the line characters. They just kind of like fill their role. But I got to give props for being there. But they did their thing, when they faced Black Adam. So I love the characters. The only character that I really didn't like, I think all the supporting cast, they did their thing. What the ISIS's brother, Muhammad Amir, I forgot the name of ISIS's brother in the film, but Muhammad Amir played the brother. And you had who else that was? Of course, Jamon Hunsu, of course. Who else was in there? Sarah Shaw, who played ISIS. Great job. So great. Fantastic. And of course, who can forget Marwan Kenzari, who played Sabek, or the gentleman, I don't even remember his name. That's how it was fleeting. I have to watch it again. I think I'm gonna watch it. I'm like, yo, where does I even realize who this dude was? I was like, but his voice sounds familiar, his look sounds familiar, and he is actually Jafar from he played Jafar in oh my god, in and I can't remember the cartoon. Aladdin, that's right. So he played Jafar in Aladdin, and he did his thing too. Nobody can play a sleazy evil dude like my man here, Marwan Kenzari. Man, my man plays a great sleazy evil guy. He was sleazy and evil as Jafar, and he's sleazy and evil playing the leader of the Intergang. So yeah, man, my man did his thing. The only person that I did not like, unfortunately, I have to say, it was Bodhi Sabungwi, I think his name was, the kid that played the son to Isis and Amon. And yeah, I wasn't too crazy about that. They did like an open, narrative play. He narrated it in the first 5 minutes, and I don't know, man. Hey, man, it is what it is. The casting director picked him. That's what it was. But I don't know. He just didn't do it for me. And every time he came on the string, it just didn't come across. And yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, but everything else as far as the cast is concerned, great, fantastic. I loved it. CGI was on point. It was spectacular in all the fight scenes. Oh man, the fight scenes. Let me tell you something. You want a fight scene, a superhero movie doing fight scenes? Black Adam is it. the fight scenes was off the chain, and the CGI that went with the fight scenes, of course, top notch. I give it up to everybody. But of course, there's one thing, and this is personally for me, Savick. I thought Savick was a little it was a little Savick was good, but I was expecting like Marvel Hulk type, CGI. When you look at CGI Hulk, you can't tell that this is like a computer generated image, like the skin, the way the light reflects off the surface of the skin, the hairs, the way the muscles move. I don't think it was all the way there. I don't think they completed it as much. Also, another part of the CGI, again, I'm being picky, there was a part where they did a throwback on the history of Tef Adam, and with The Rock in a smaller body. I don't think that was completed because it looked like it needed a little bit of tweaking. The same thing like how we have in Captain America, where you saw Chris Evans as Captain America. Okay, so when he played before he became Captain America, he was in a small body. You couldn't tell. You literally could not tell. That's when you do fantastic CGI work, when you're splicing a head over a smaller body. But that didn't happen in this one. It just looked, it needed work. And probably, a lot of times in the movie business, they go right to the last second when it comes to doing the CGI for movies. And I don't think this was ready, but sometimes in showbiz, it's like, hey, we give them what we got. That's what we got. So those are the two things I probably didn't like too much. But overall, the CGI was on point. As far as the writing is concerned, wasn't great. The writing wasn't great. It was pretty basic. I mean, like any other superhero movie, but who cares? We want to see the fight scenes. The fight scenes. I didn't care about the dialogue. Who cares? The fight scenes is what we all came to see. We wanted to see The Rock as Black Adam and Black Adam kick ass. We didn't care about the goddamn writing or who said what. This wasn't more like Dr. Zhivago or some deep drama going on, like How to Get Away with Murder. We wasn't looking for that. We weren't looking for that. Shout out to Viola Davis. Let me tell you, matter of fact, with Viola Davis, her whole what do you call it? Her playing her character in Black Adam, it was just a screen. She didn't do any. She wasn't physically there. She literally did her piece in front of a green screen, and then the design team did the rest to make it look like she was on a TV monitor. Let me tell you something, because I was like, that's it? That's all the Viola Davis we gonna get? Can you imagine that check? That's one of the upsides to doing movies, man. As an actor, you don't even have to be in the film. All they're saying is, look, just be on the screen, say these lines, probably was like 40 words in total, and that's all you got to do. And she probably got a cool $2-5 million just for doing that. So she wasn't even in there like that. But of course, Viola Davis shines as usual. You know what I mean? But the writing was pretty basic, but I didn't care about the writing. It was cool. A lot of times there was some parts I didn't like, in terms of where the writing was going. But I don't care. So the DCU outcome, where is this going? I heard from one of the critics that, of course, the piece de la resistance, you had Superman at the end in the opening credit scene. That's probably the worst kept secret in all of Hollywood, because they use that as pretty much a selling point for the film. The Rock let it out. Even the producer, I forgot the producer's name, was pissed off and publicly said, we should have kept that a secret. But everybody already knew. Everybody was watching the development of this film. They were watching all the online YouTube shows, from your favorite to the least viewed. People were keeping their eye on Black Adam up to its release, and people were salivating off of every piece of news that came out, and whether it was true or not. Yes, that was a worst kept secret. Everybody knew that Henry Cavill was going to be, by the time this film was released, everybody knew that Henry Cavill was going to be in the end credit scene. But people still went to the movie theaters to go see it because they wanted to see Henry Cavill. As everybody knows of the problem between Henry Cavill and the DCEU and WB and that whole debacle. But, you know, to see Henry Cavill on the screen, put on that red and blue suit again, it was like, man, goody gumdrops. That's what people want to see. And Dwayne Johnson knew that's what people wanted to see, and he made it happen. Now, this thing is a long time coming, trying to get Henry Cavill back into that blue and red suit, and it finally came. And of course, if I was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I would do the same thing. I'm like, yo, I'm selling this goddamn movie. This is gonna make it out in the box office because it's bigger than what you think. So, you know, it's gonna go into crossovers. Hopefully that is where this is going to go as far as the Justice League. Hopefully, because this is the whole Magic deal, I'm looking forward to them to do Justice League Dark. You know, there's a whole spin-off with that. I'm hoping it's going to break up in so many different ways where Henry Cavill can get that deal and he can be in the Flash, and which they said they did reshoots and they have him in the Flash, because supposedly, as they say on the grapevine from folks that were talking about the film, that he was only signed up to do 2 cameos, and he hasn't been signed for anything else, just 2 cameos for the Flash and for Shazam. I believe it's Shazam. No, for the what am I talking about? For this movie, Black Adam. So, but this could go in so many directions, and I'm looking forward to where they're going with this. This is definitely one of the plans of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to really use Black Adam to reignite the belief and the passion and the drive to get the DCU back up on its feet and to get back on the Snyderverse, which all the fans adored. So if The Rock can do that, and then it's a long time coming to really get the DCEU back into play, that was one of the missions. It was just not about Black Adam. It was about really, it was so much bigger than Black Adam or what he was doing. But of course, he was putting 125% in the Black Adam movie. And for the only way to really reignite folks in the studio and the fans and bring them together and bring DCEU where it needs to go, Black Adam needed to come off. So, I mean, and I see it. I see it now. Zaslav said that there was a 10-year projection when it came out, you know, and he was just chopping all these movies up in the Batgirl, and then freaking the other movie, whatever he did, the cartoon, what do you call it? The Mystery Machine. I forgot. He knocked down I forgot I would do with Scooby-Doo. It was a Scooby-Doo. He slashed that joint. But, you know, he did say there was a 10-year projection in contest with the Marvel, and that got on shaky ground. But once we've seen Black Adam, we can honestly visualize where we're going. And this is going to breathe life back into the DCEU and the Justice League and the Snyderverse. I can't see them going with the Justice with Joss Whedon. That was crap. Nobody wants that. The Snyderverse. And even if Zack Snyder is not personally dealing with the Snyderverse in the way that he's done with the Justice League, at least, you know, keep that same energy in as I said before, if they choose another director. But the Snyderverse is definitely where the Justice League should be going. So I'm really looking forward to that. So the future of Superman, again, as I said before, Henry Cavill he got in the after credit scene after the first weekend. Henry Cavill made an announcement on IG saying that he was back playing Superman, and it's official, and he made that whole thing. Now, I was watching, everybody knows Grace Randolph. Grace Randolph did make a point. She says that there's still no deal on the table, because if there was a deal on the table, he would have made that announcement on IG. But this is just a tactic to get people stirred up about him playing Superman, and as a sign to the studio, WB, to really get this deal on the table. If it's not on the table, if it's not handwritten, or if they're like dragging their feet, it's a great tactic. I don't know. Grace Randolph I was a little suspicious on where she was going with it. She understood that's what it was. It was just a marketing ploy to get people's butts in the seats and to get the studio excited. But she personally does not like Henry Cavill as Superman. I don't know where this comes from. I'm trying to see it. If he was, listen, Whoo, I don't know, man. I don't understand it. When Iron Fist, what is that kid, that the actor's name that plays Iron Fist in the Netflix series actor? And I know, watching Iron Fist, Finn Jones, okay, Finn Jones that played Iron Fist on the Netflix Marvel series. I know he was terrible for that role. Terrible. I'm not stupid. I know what works. When it comes to the nuanced things, you know, and people want to split hairs on certain things, why certain actors shouldn't play certain roles or they should, you know, that's when you get kind of confused. But I know absolutely when someone is miscast. Finn Jones is not Iron Fist. So I know that. But to see Henry Cavill be Superman, I can't see anybody else playing Superman. When the news came out that he was talking with Marvel to be Wonder Man, I was like, no. Nobody sees Henry Cavill as Wonder Man, and it takes people out of it. If he did ink the deal to be Wonder Man in Marvel, just to let folks know, Wonder Man, I don't know too much about Wonder Man, but they say Wonder Man is kind of like Marvel's version of Superman. If Henry Cavill did actually ink that deal with Marvel to play Wonder Man, all people would see on that screen is Superman, and it would be an utter fail. All people would be talking about is, how come DC couldn't sign him to get him to play Superman? I don't want to see this. It would take people right out of their imagination of watching a Marvel movie wherever Wonder Man is going to be played. So I knew that was going to be a bad deal. Maybe it was a play to get the Warner Brothers, get them up and going to sign a deal. Who knows? It's a possibility, just like the marketing trick that Henry Cavill did on his IG post. Now, this is the thing. It's just not Henry Cavill that did this on his IG post. His manager, also Rock's ex-wife, she posted it. What was her name? And I don't have that in my notes. Ex-wife. Oh my God. I'm typing so fast. Things are in my way. I'm bringing up features in this computer that shouldn't come up. Danny Garcia. Okay, Danny Garcia, she posted on her IG account. All right. So, you know, she's also a producer in Hollywood. So she definitely also manages, I believe, Henry Cavill. So she posted it about Superman. She's doing her part. A lot of other people are doing their part. I mean, it's not like Henry Cavill is doing this all by his lonesome. We have Danny Garcia. We have many different companies that are kind of resharing what's on Twitter, and also I believe on IG about Superman is back. So there's these people that are kind of pushing this movement along for Henry Cavill to reprise his role as Clark Kent. And then all of a sudden Grace Randall was like, I don't think he's a great actor. I'm like, but I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. Who knows? I still will watch Grace Randolph. She's a great plug for the Hollywood Inside. But I'm very curious on why she's so anti Henry Cavill. She thinks he's wrong for the role. I don't know where this comes from. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to Superman and where this is gonna go, and I'm excited. I really don't care about Shazam. And I know Shazam is coming out, I understand, but after watching The Rock in Black Adam, visually I don't see how Shazam can face. I just don't see it. I see Shazam getting his ass kicked, and you know, this is Black Adam. He is, I'm telling you, the way he comes across on screen just doesn't make sense. All right, the way, and I know Black Adam is his Shazam's arch nemesis, but I can't see an 11-year-old kid being in a grown man body saying 11-year-old little wisecrack jokes in his padded suit fight Black Adam, the gargantuan of a beast this Black Adam is. I don't see it, but you know, if the fans want it, and we understand that's canon, Marvel, DC canon, it has to be done in some type of way. So we will see definitely in some way Black Adam fight Shazam. It's just gonna, for me, it's gonna look silly, but you know, it is what it is. So we're here for it. I'm here for it. I'm all here for everything. I suggest everybody go see. It's not a perfect movie. Trust me. Yeah, I get it. We had, they talked about the precious metal, the whatever the name of that damn metal. I didn't even care. Trust me. The things that I don't even remember that the film is small potatoes. I went to go see the superhero fights and Black Adam. You know what I mean? Personally put on this role. Intergang, they were just there. There was no background story. There was hardly any background story for Justice Society, for Dr. Fate, for Hawkman, for, all the other characters. I didn't really think that, you could have literally taken out Atom Smasher and what's her name? Her character. What's her name? I don't know. Storm. I don't know. Reject Storm. I don't know. So I mean, and it would have made a difference. I thought it was great CGI the way they played it up as far as Atom Smasher and the other girl, Black Adam. Let me get it. I just want to get her name. It'll play Cyclone. Yeah, Cyclone. And by the way, in the comic, Cyclone is a daughter to Red Tornado. Red Tornado is a superhero who's an android that uses wind too. And he's actually in the cartoons, and he goes around with a tornado under him. I don't know how you can make this connection in the live action between Cyclone and Red Tornado. Who knows? We'll see. Look it up, folks. Google it and you'll see. Yeah, so I mean, I didn't really, whatever. The fact is, we want to see Black Adam kick ass, and this was his first film. And as they say, The Rock was putting his all into making this film work. This thing was a long time coming. He finally got it on the screen. It was like moving mountains to get Henry Cavill to put on the suit, and we're here. And I didn't care. I personally don't care in its totality. I loved Black Adam, and I know that this is more than just Black Adam. This is about restarting the DCEU, and if The Rock can do it, I'm all for it. Taking it with its flaws and all, I'm taking it. And to me, I kind of seen Black Adam, this movie, kind of like, and this is nothing new. This ain't new. This has been done before. Guess where this has been done before? Star Wars. Yes, this has been done in Star Wars. So think about it. Remember The Force Awakens, right? You had The Force Awakens. That movie, let's just back up a second. When The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith came out, it was kind of a failure in the masses' eyes. People didn't like it, especially the Star Wars fans. They thought it was lackluster in so many ways, the characters, the stories, everything. So it was kind of a misstep for George Lucas, even though this is George Lucas's baby. People, I guess, in a lot of ways, people are probably stuck on the originals in the 70s. And when this finally came out, people just didn't like it. And in hindsight, yeah, it was in a lot of ways it was lackluster, but that nonetheless failed in a lot of different ways. It wasn't well received. Then Disney bought the rights from George Lucas in 2012, and of course they gave him $1 gajillion for this property, the Star Wars property, because you're seeing it long term where they're going to go in so many different directions. Of course, they wanted to bring it outside the Luke Skywalker lore and explore this Star Wars universe in its full way. So of course, after they give the stacks and stacks of making it rain on George Lucas, they came out with their first Star Wars movie. It was The Force Awakens. All right, The Force Awakens. It was, people were excited about it. They were all open. They was like, oh my God, we haven't seen this since the originals. Of course, and they had Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Harrison Ford reprising his role as Han Solo, Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron, ... Okay, once you calm down after the film came out and everything started to settle, that The Force Awakens was a generic rehash of the 1977 A New Hope with Luke Skywalker. I even was thinking that when I was watching it. I mean, Rey was she was Luke Skywalker. And the studio was playing. I understand where the studio was coming off from with that, because of course with the failures to the previous films that came out, they wanted something that was going to hit hard and bring back the emotion, the original emotions, and the nostalgia of what Star Wars meant to so many people around the world. So in a lot of ways, they did try to play it safe. And Rey was Luke Skywalker. Her home was Jakku, a desert planet. And what was Luke Skywalker's home? Tatooine, which was a desert planet. They ripped some of the elements right out of the original Star Wars and they put it right into The Force Awakens. And I was cool with it. I understood it. When The Force Awakens came out, I was like, oh yeah, Luke Skywalker. Oh, Jakku. All right, Tatooine. Oh, the robots. Okay, cool. And then of course it went off into its own story, but I understood what Disney was coming from a business standpoint. They wanted to make sure that this movie came off. They wanted to bring that heart back to the film, to the people's hearts. They want to bring the emotion back into people's hearts of how they felt about the original trilogy, even the first one. I get it. I just took it as, okay, we're going to do a Force Awakens. We're going to set the stage, and then we're going to get deeper into a deeper story with Star Wars in the second and third installments. Obviously, you know how that went. That went trash, but I got it. I was with it. I even bought The Force Awakens because, of course, I remember the original ones and I knew where they were going with it. That's how I'm seeing Black Adam. That's what I'm seeing with how The Rock was trying to do with Black Adam, just kind of set the stage for the DCEU and moving it into other places. So yeah, man. And then the recent news, the last bit, the recent news with James Gunn and Peter Safran taking over the film, TV, and animation division. That is the newest news of it all. And actually, it says here, Gunn is going to be the most respected minds. This is in the Hollywood Reporter. Gunn is one of the most respected minds in the world of comic book filmmaking. He came up in the indie film space and became an A-list director in 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy, and its sequel. Jumped to DC in 2018 for the Suicide Squad. Director of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is eventually come out. Remember, he got fired. He got brought back. And we have Safran is going to be his manager, was his manager. And now he's going to take on more of the executive role. He's a producer of the $1 billion gross film Aquaman and the upcoming sequel, as well as Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and Shazam. So, Safran has his hands in that. So James Gunn is going to be the creative part of this new DCEU universe, and Peter Safran is going to be the executive, handle the business part of it. So, these are guys that are seasoned in comic book lore. We'll see where it goes. A lot of people, not everybody's going to agree with what's going on as far as James Gunn taking over the creative process of DCEU. And I know, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he's going to have his own influence in where Black Adam's going to go, and in some of the other story. He's not going to take total control, but you cannot disregard Dwayne's influence in Black Adam and how the DCU is going to go, where he's going to be placed. I'm sure everybody's going to sit down at the table and kind of hash out how these storylines are going to come into play and interlink with each other and going into their solo films. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so that's my review on Black Adam. If all that said, how do I rate it? From 1 to 10, I give it a 7.5. I give it a 7.5. I want to say an 8, but I don't want to be too much of a ball hogger. A 7.5, but I know where Black Adam is going, and I'm excited about where it's going, and I love it. I can't wait for BA2, where it's going to go with Shazam. Hopefully we can take whatever the weak links of the film and we could work on those, and that it leads me into other thing, writing. A lot of course, we're living in the age of the superhero films. A lot of people don't like that, and what's happening is a lot of the attention is being paid to CGI because it's visual. I get it. It's the movie. It's motion pictures, but you got to have a stylish story. You can have great CGI. You can have great presentation, but if the script is not right, first, second, and third act, and how these actors play off of each other, or characters. You can also say actors in a specific way, but the characters play off of each other. You want to stay loyal to the comic book lore, to comic book canon, but of course put your own play in a 2022 version. So a lot of it's something that, you know, takes skill, of course, and love and care with these characters that we've grown to love for decades, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. So learning from The Force Awakens, and kind of I'm hoping they can learn from other bad films, Thor, Love and Thunder, and try to, you know, pay attention to the script just as much as you pay attention to the visuals of a movie, because, you know, we do love that. Shout out to Batman, shout out to the Joker. Those are great films, independent releases that were magnificent because the scripts were on point. Chef's kiss to those films. So shout out to The Rock. I love the film. I'm going to see it again, and I'm looking forward to where the DCEU goes next time. I encourage everybody to go see the Black Adam 2. Go see it. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you on the next show later this weekend. I'm out. Peace.